Hello again, guys. If you were lucky enough to catch the first round of this is the second time I'm going live today. Because after I did the first live, when I went to go upload it, it was literally so blurry. And I realized that I wasn't connected to the Wi-Fi and like a ton of stuff happened. And then I tried to refilm it and like a bunch of stuff happened. And I'm realizing that, I don't know what energetically is sort of like imposing me talking about what's going on astrologically, but I will say it's also very much in alignment with what's going on astrologically. So if you saw the first live, feel free to skip past this. I'm going to leave it on the page just because anytime I redo something, I know that I'll either say something different that I didn't say the first time in this one, or there's something that I'll miss from the first one that I didn't say in this. So I'm going to leave it available in case you want to go and like rewatch that. But I wanted to come on because I wanted to do this like energy update some service. Hi, thank you for joining. I wanted to do this energy some service. So I know that like the last live was blurry. So I just kind of want to come on and say literally every single thing again. Just kind of, especially because I know that right now is such a dense time. So it's important to kind of like at least provide some guidance on why it is that you could be feeling what you're feeling and all of those things. So thank you for joining. If you're watching live, if you're watching this on YouTube, it means the world to me. My name is Jasmine Kylene, all of those things. Honestly, I'm so like exhausted. I think this daylight savings time really just beat my ass, but I will also say that I'm emotionally fatigued, and there's a lot of astrological reason as to why, so I wanted to come on here and just talk a little bit about why that is. So the very first thing is that what I talked about last week with the new moon in Pisces was the fact that we were ending an era and walking into a new beginning, a new chapter, a new way of life. And within that, it was really important for us to be reflective, kind of understand what it is that we experienced, why we experienced it, and sort of extract every lesson so that we can filter our future decisions through that lens. However, I want to also note that even though we're moving into Aries season this week, which is like sort of that new beginning, the astrological new year, the start of what a new life looks like for us, it's important to recognize that we are currently purging. When you upgrade DNA, when you ascend, when you evolve into an even higher and more aligned version of yourself, you're going to experience ascension symptoms. And one of those ascension symptoms is purging. So right now it can feel like a ton of fucking emotion is coming up and you have no idea why. Some emotion you can't pinpoint as to a root cause. Some emotion you know very well, like this has to do with my insecurity or my attachment to a certain cycle or something that I haven't processed yet. And it's important to recognize that it is coming up in order to move through and be released. Anything that is not in alignment with your evolution is coming up really, really heavy right now because it's asking for you to be intentional with the way that you approach it. It's asking for you to bid it farewell. It's just simply asking for you to honor the fact that this no longer resonates with the version of you that you are deciding to be, that you're walking into, that you're making the active choice of being. So with that being said, it can feel like I did a morning class today and a lot of people were resonating with the fact that they felt like they were regressing. They were like, I've done all this work to evolve and somehow this like little thing that I thought I overcame is still bothering me or it still, holds weight in my life. And it's important to note that you are not regressing. There is no regressing happening. In fact, it's the complete opposite. Because you are evolving, because you are approaching an even more lightened state of being, these things that no longer resonate with you are coming to the surface because of the fact that they have no place to sit. So when they come up, observe them. Do not identify with them. Don't identify with the emotional waves that you must be experiencing right now. And mind you, if you're not experiencing these emotional waves, that's incredible. That means that you're walking into Aries season sort of with excitement, because truthfully purging looks different for everyone. But what I will say is that if it's coming up, just let it come up, observe it, and rest. Rest is really, 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 I'm like trying to get to all the points that I said in the first one because I don't want to miss it. But rest is imperative right now. Once Aries season starts, which I believe the 20th is when the sun moves into Aries, it's going to be go time. Aries season is going to require so much of your energy. It's going to require you to show up in every single way, energetically, emotionally, physically. It's going to require you to, all of the manifestations that you've been working so hard at building for yourself, they're going to show up in the most physical sense. So it's really important to recognize that because so much of you is going to be needed in that time. It's important to recognize that right now, I'm exhausted, girl, same. Now is the time to rest. Now is the time to honor the fact that it is time to rest. You have the opportunity to rest and do it. And resting means a physical thing, but it also means an emotional thing. I feel like anytime we're met with emotional turbulence, we're like, okay, well, how do I fix this? How do I what do I need to do in order to feel better? And sometimes what you need to do in order to feel better is just lay your ass down and let it happen. Let it be processed. Let it just be. So whatever's coming up right now, let it move through you. It is not a reflection of your growth. Well, in a way it is, because it's a reflection of like this still lives inside of me, but I'm deciding to approach in a different manner. I'm deciding to honor it in a different manner. I'm not identifying with it. I'm not letting it drown me. I'm being intentional with recognizing myself as the observer and seeing the way that this is no longer going to affect me. So let it move through. You're moving into a new era. It's also really, really important to note that as we step into Aries season, I advise you to step in with as much confidence as you possibly can. Really embody your power, because this is the season, it's the new year essentially. So this is a period where you're going to be able to play the role that you've envisioned for yourself. So it's important to recognize the fact that you're capable of it, and show up boldly, adorn yourself, put yourself out there, share your work, really express yourself the way that you would had you already made it, right? So how to rest and still handle my business is a question. That is difficult. I mean, it's all about, I think right now, especially with Mercury going into Pisces, it's all about honoring what feels intuitively correct and not overexerting yourself, making sure that you allot yourself the period to work and the period to rest, and really like prioritizing those timelines. Another beautiful thing to note is, what else? Okay, so Mercury. Obviously, we all know Mercury was in Aquarius for quite some time. We all had that very just like profound and life-changing Mercury retrograde in Aquarius. It is no longer in that sign. It is now going into Pisces. And this is a beautiful shift, because when it was in the sign of Aquarius, we were seeing life through the lens of rebellion and change, and how can I, sort of deconstruct this outdated paradigm, and how can I, really pouring yourself into social justice on a collective level at the very least, and just sort of like challenging. And now we're moving into Pisces, which is sort of different in the sense of things are more focused on compassion and rebuilding and understanding and healing and empathy. So we're going to see this on a collective level, right? Everything that we've broken down, we're going to rebuild, but with the intention rooted in community and in unity and healing, and sort of finding the safe middle ground. But on a personal level, it means being more compassionate with ourselves. It means really, hi Queen, thank you for joining. It means just rooting yourself in empathy. And what's beautiful about Mercury in Pisces is that it's going to leave us very vulnerable, right? This is a beautiful time to really embrace vulnerability, really connect with people, really share yourself, share your soul, share your art. But the con to that is that when Mercury is in Pisces, it can leave us so vulnerable to the point where we may be absorbing too much that isn't ours. So now is a beautiful time to be really intentional with what it is that you're ingesting, how much time you're spending on social media, what you're following on social media. Really do some spring cleaning on that feed. The music that you're listening to, the shows that you're consuming. Vulnerability hangover, that is super, 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 like right now is a time to be really, really cautious with what you're absorbing, because of the fact that our energy is so vulnerable. So just being intentional with it, and also being intentional with the people and the relationships that you're allowing yourself to uphold, recognizing when you are depleted and don't have it to show up and otherwise. But what's most important is to recognize that like vulnerability is powerful. And so really put yourself out there, right? Exactly. Honor the boundaries that you put in place for others, and also honor the boundaries that you put in place for yourself. If you know that you want to say no to something, but your heart is saying, well, you should say yes, or whatever. Just really honor the boundaries that you put for yourself, the way that you talk to yourself. Pisces is a season where we really are connected to divinity. This thing that I really didn't want to forget to say. If you are in the space where you do want to manifest, visualizing right now is huge. Pisces is so connected to the subconscious. So not only are we going to get a lot of signs and a lot of messages through our dreams for the next 3 weeks, so really pay attention to your dreams, keep a dream journal. But also, if you have any sort of meditative practice, incorporating visualization into it is going to be really, really, really powerful. So really sit there and see every layer of the life that you want for yourself. See how you're going to feel, what you're going to look like, what you're going to spend your time doing, who's going to be surrounded by you. And if you don't know exactly who's going to be surrounded by you, or who you're going to surround yourself by, feel the energy of what it is that you want to call in, what kind of lover, what kind of friendships, what kind of co-workers. Just really visualize the life that you're stepping into as we move into Aries season, and fully bathe in it. Hi, I know you were part of the first live. I'm doing it again because it came out really blurry, but yes, really root yourself in visualization right now, because it's going to be the most beautiful and the easiest way to not only just lift your vibration, because when you visualize it, you're really physically in it, but it's also going to be a direct way to communicate with the ethers what it is that you want. So really practice visualization, pay attention to your dreams, and be as expressive and as vulnerability in your expression as possible. If you have any form of art that you enjoy creating and you want the world to see it, now is the time to show the world. Now is the time to really put out there any projects that you've been perfecting, that you've been in the corner like, no, it's not ready yet. It's ready. I promise you it's ready. Put yourself out there, really express yourself vulnerably. And also, if you have any sort of like if you have a facade that you find yourself feeding into, and it's not anything to judge yourself for, because if you have social media, you have some degree of a facade, consider opening yourself up more. Consider putting your real self out there. Consider sharing your emotions, because it's a beautiful way to heal. It's a beautiful way to connect. It's a beautiful way to deepen. And what else? Yeah, I just really want to reiterate that if you're feeling a lot right now, let it move through you. Do not let it consume you. Do not let it become you. Don't identify with it. Recognize that whatever is coming up right now is meant to be released, and the only way out is through. So if it's coming into your mind, ways that you just haven't fully processed, or the way that you still are susceptible to certain cycles or certain habits, just recognize that it's meant to move through you and out of you, because as you step into this next, the other side of this Aries season, I can't stress enough how excited I am, because I am seeing so many people really step into their power, their creative power, their human power. I'm seeing people start businesses, become artists, really grow, and it's because it's the time. We've done all of this inner work. The last year has really forced us to root in stillness, and as the world sort of blooms again, as we bloom alongside it, it's a beautiful time for expression, for action, for becoming, for stepping into who we really are, who we've chosen to be. So recognize that if anything is coming up right now, it's because it just does not resonate with that timeline, and it shouldn't, honestly. And it's also important to note that the things that we're calling in for ourselves, yes, we've done the work and we should reap our benefits, but it's also worth noting that it also calls for intentional action and intentional choice. So making sure that how you move is in alignment with what it is that you want for yourself. Making sure that, if you want this well-fleshed career, that you're committing to it at least day by day, or that, it's not just the mental, right? You need to believe in that you're capable of it, and that you're worthy of it, and that you're on the timeline in which it exists, but you also need to put the physical in it. And Aries season is going to ask that of you. It's going to say, you're capable of it. You've done all the work in uprooting those limiting beliefs. You've done all the work in sort of weeding out the people that don't support it, but now is the time to actually show up. Girl, it's hibernation. So really rest, really take this period of rest as a time of recovery and as a time for preparation, because Aries season is going to ask that of you. It really is, but it's good because we're all in the same place. We really are in the same place. Ride any emotional waves. Like I said, this DNA upgrading means, this purging means that we're upgrading our DNA. We're really stepping into evolved versions of ourselves. I don't know if you feel it, but it's just kind of it's almost as if you can literally see scales on your skin sort of shifting. We really are becoming a much more enlightened, a much more brave, a much more full version of ourselves. We're going to be living fuller lives. And so it's really imperative that we be intentional with what are we allowing ourselves to think? How much are we allowing ourselves to ingest? What are we ingesting? What are we no longer playing into and feeding into? And just all of these things. So yeah, I think that's basically it. Walk into Aries season with as much confidence as you possibly can. And confidence is rooted in how you speak to yourself and how you allow yourself to be spoken to. Know that you're capable. Know that everything you desire is within your reach. And I believe that's basically the gist of it. Obviously, we're still coming off the heels of last week's new moon. So if there's any last minute things that you really want to call in for yourself, now would be a beautiful time to sort of put it on paper and really speak into the universe what it is that you want for yourself, because Aries season is all about that blooming. It's all about really experiencing what it is that we've been calling in for ourselves. And yeah, that's basically it. If you're feeling a lot, so is everyone else. Speak it out loud. Talk to somebody. Don't talk to anyone. Rest, whatever it is that you need. I'm so excited for Aries season. I know that it's going to be beautiful. There will be some bumps. Obviously, we have retrogrades happening, but overall, it's going to be a time where we really are standing in our power, and that requires you to believe that you have a power to stand in. So do it, bitch. And that's basically it. Love you guys so much. I hope that this served you. I'm glad I came back and did it again. Oh, hi, Liv. I just finished, but I'll upload it. I'm glad I came and did it again because the last one was blurry. But if you do want to see it, it's still on my IGTV section in case I missed something. But yeah, happy Mercury and Pisces. Flirt, express, all of the things. I love you. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.